Hello, and welcome to Through the Monocle. Today we are talking about Batman Forever, the Red Book edition, a fan edit that proposes to save Batman Forever. As always, I'm your host, Grant Ingram, who could not, for the life of him, think of the word purports. Joining me today, it is my good friend, the Joker to my Joker. It is Grant Skillen. How you doing, Grant?
I'm good. I was not kicked off the show, surprisingly. I'm
He's
back.
back again.
Who would have thunk it? I'm doing good. The good news is, this is not a spoiler. The good news is we have the same opinion of this movie, and it's not a good one. That's not a spoiler.
We
I
could
mean,
both agree that Val Kilmer is the best part.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
This is
Just
2 weeks in a row.
just to throw this out there, just so people know, the IMDb ratings 39% tomato meter, 32% audience score. It's
Oof.
bad.
Yeah.
It ain't good.
Now, this version of it, we have to make the distinction. We are specifically talking about the
Yeah.
Red Book edition.
I'll be honest, I don't think it matters.
It doesn't that much.
It doesn't
The
matter
Red
at
Book
all.
edition is solidly better by like a little
Like
bit.
2%.
Yeah, well, they cut out a little bit of the Jim Carrey crap. They finished off the whole storyline.
Wait, they
with the
cut some
Bat.
out?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Some of like the random bull crap. They finished off the storyline with Bruce and the Bat.
That's a huge bat, by the way. I didn't realize how big that bat was.
Bat is freaking massive. Let's see. They changed a little bit about the Nicole Kidman interaction from memory. I didn't watch both versions today. So like that first scene, where Kidman, where Batman says it's a false alarm, and Kidman's like, "Is it though?" And he runs away. I believe they kissed in the theatrical version. I'm not 100% sure on that. Now, they might have kissed later on in the movie. There was something a little different with that. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, in the Red Book, they do later on in the movie, but not.
I feel like it might have been both times. I don't know though. I will say that was one of my favorite scenes in the movie where she's like, "Is it a false alarm?" and he just takes off running. He's like, "I'm gone." See,
he just dipped. Bro's
a
out of here.
Get behind me, Satan moment. Like,
Yeah.
leave me not into temptation. And that's when she started at AMC theaters. We are no.
Yeah. This movie's not good.
It did also add, though, I want to say, at the very beginning, it added a scene in Arkham Asylum in which we see Two-Face's escape with written in blood on the walls, "The Bat must die," which was a very good scene. And that's where the good scene ended.
It's one of maybe two in the whole movie. The other being the end credit scene when the movie's over.
Yeah, and we like don't have to suffer through that anymore. I did like there was a bit of Two-Face that they added in the initial sequence where he was like threatening the guy, right? And with the whole flip a coin, it was a little less cartoony, a little more Two-Face like. But it's the same movie.
So remind me, Two-Face, was he in one of the movies before this? I know there were two. There was Batman and then there was Batman Returns, or did he just pop up?
This gets interesting. All right, so Tommy Lee Jones, best known for being Tommy Lee Jones, plays Two-Face in this movie. Two-Face is Harvey Dent.
Mm-hmm.
Harvey Dent was portrayed in the first two movies.
Oh, yeah, Billy
D. Williams. Billy D. Williams had in his contract that he would take the role as Harvey Dent if and only if he was allowed to play Two-Face. He wasn't, so they had to buy him out of his contract to recast him.
They're like, "Thank you. We really appreciate you wanting to play Two-Face. However, we don't want you to play Two-Face. So
you
we're
could
going to buy you
argue it
out
was
of it."
potentially racially motivated. Like there's a lot that goes on with this being potentially racially motivated. For example, the original cast of Robin in this movie, like contracted and everything before they got rid of Tim Burton as director, was Marlon Wayans. I believe it was Marlon Wayans. It was one of the Wayans brothers, who is black. Which it's a weird casting, but I could have definitely seen it. Yeah, it was Marlon Wayans. And so they ended up firing him and replacing him with Chris O'Donnell, and replacing Billy Dee with Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Chris Grant. So Grant texted me. Let me find this text real quick. When Grant was watching the movie, he said, "I can't believe Chris O'Donnell became an orphan at the age of 35."
And that's what we were expected to believe. Now, for the record, in this movie, let me pull up something because I want to show off what Billy Dee looks like canonically as Two-Face. But in this movie, this is Chris O'Donnell, adopted by billionaire Bruce Wayne after his parents die, leaving him an orphan who is sad and has nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
He's 27.
Yeah, Chris was 27. I don't know how old was Robin supposed to be? Like canonically, how old is he supposed to be at this time?
He has to be younger than 18.
Well, yes.
He also
Which he already fails.
Right. In the comics, he's like 12.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's an actual, because I didn't see this. Let me look and see.
So while Grant's going and looking for that, I want to start going through some of the trivia facts on IMDb, because as awful as this movie is, there are some fantastic trivia facts. So the first one, according to Jim Carrey, he did not get along with Tommy Lee Jones, who told him he hated him and his films.
Nice.
Val Kilmer and Jim Carrey became good friends during filming. They bonded over the death of their father, so that's a good one.
So in this, we have two actors bonding over the death of a parent and two characters bonding over the death of a parent.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them lost their parent in their childhood, and the other one was 27.
Yes. Jim Carrey's original idea was to shave a question mark into his scalp. But the idea had to be scratched because he was going to be in court to finalize his divorce.
That makes the whole movie worth watching.
It does. When I read that, that's when I'm like, okay, I've got to keep looking at these. The Batmobile was usually driven by stunt drivers. It wasn't actually our boy. Why am I blanking? It wasn't Val Kilmer normally driving, or Keaton in the past movies. It was stunt drivers. But Chris O'Donnell wanted to drive it himself in the joyride scene. He crashed it into a curb and dented a fender.
Nice.
Leonardo DiCaprio was offered the role of Dick Grayson and declined it because he didn't like Joel Schumacher's direction.
I believe that. I also want to point out that Leo is like 50 something at this point. So Leo was born in 74. He's 48.
Mm-hmm.
In 97, he would have been 23.
He would have been far better than Chris O'Donnell.
You can't get worse than Chris O'Donnell.
Only if they put you
the man is 37. Well, dude, they could have cast freaking Howard the Duck as Robin, and it would have been more believable that he was an orphan than freaking Chris O'Donnell.
Mm-hmm. Will Shortz, who was puzzle master on National Public Radio and editor of the New York Times crossword puzzle, created the Riddler's puzzles.
Ooh. The riddles, okay, so the riddles are actually pretty solid. Like, they're not the worst part of this movie. That's not my problem with the Riddler in this movie.
Yeah, Val Kilmer learned he was going to be the new Batman while he was literally in a bat cave in Africa doing research for The Ghost and the Darkness that came out in 1996. He accepted the role without reading the script.
Oof. That was his mistake.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer and Joel Schumacher clashed during filming. Schumacher described Kilmer as childish and impossible. According to Schumacher, Kilmer refused to talk to him for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that might be true, but the film is childish and impossible to watch. So I can't say I blame him. Also, I do want to point out, now that I have this, so Billy Dee Williams did come back as Two-Face in a comic book series like 2 years ago.
Yeah, he came back as the voice.
No. It was like they adapted the Batman 89 universe. So they continued on where the third Burton movie would have been. Minus Marlon Wayans as Robin. So this is what he looked like.
Oh, nice.
Which is a lot better than Tommy Lee Jones did. Like like just a lot better. Anyway, he voiced what?
In 2017, he voiced the character in the Lego Batman movie.
I mean, yes.
That's what I thought you were about to say a minute ago.
No, I just wanted to show off the look because, like, I always thought Billy D would have been a better Two-Face. Not that I dislike Tommy Lee Jones as an actor. I like him in a lot of the stuff I've seen him in. The problem is, he's not playing Two-Face. He's playing the freaking Joker the whole movie. This is his look, by the way.
Yeah, not
compare that to this. So Billy D almost looks more like Batman the Animated Series Two-Face. I'm sorry, I'm going there. I really should have done this, but I'm now thinking of it as we're going along. So Batman the Animated Series Two-Face, which this checks out because Batman the Animated Series was largely based off the Burtonverse, as we found out from our friend Kevin Altieri, right? Like he mentioned that it was largely based around 1989's Batman. Mm-hmm. So if you look at that and compare that to that, like it's largely similar. At the very least, it's blue versus this, which is just terrible. Like really bad. I want to talk. I'll let you continue reading trivia. I want to say one thing. So in the opening sequence, which is awful, Batman gets trapped in a vault with a guy that Two-Face has kidnapped and used to set up the trap, in like this bank vault. And as they're being pulled away by a helicopter and what has to be the most cartoony thing since this, it starts filling up with some sort of liquid. And as the thing's filling up with some sort of liquid, the goon or the guy that's been kidnapped says, "Oh no, it's boiling acid." There's no inclination. About a minute later, his glasses fall in and we see his glasses melt. To me, you gotta swap those two scenes. Like if I see the glasses melt and then he goes, "Oh no, it's boiling acid," I'm like, okay, maybe. If he just if this random guy just knows, oh shoot, it's just not good. Yeah, it's just not good.
So back to some of the trivia and fun facts. There were more than 100 Batman and Robin suits created to allow for the range of stunts from underwater scenes to fire and extreme fighting.
Wow.
And to continue with that fact, the main bat suit that Val Kilmer wore was so heavy that he lost 5 pounds just from filming the opening fight scene.
That's incredible. I also will say that opening fight scene is really good. Like the actual choreography and the fighting is a step up from the Keaton stuff. The suit moves better. So you get punches, you get kicks, there's more to it. He can turn his head, which is crazy. I did like that. Now, the actual reason he's there and fighting is stupid. The whole scene itself is stupid, but the fighting is actually pretty good. The choreography is nice. I got to give it something. It got to try.
Mm-hmm. And Val Kilmer is fantastic as Batman, in my opinion, in this movie. At least it's the best part of the movie.
Which, considering this guy is 13, isn't saying much.
Yes.
But yeah, Val Kilmer is the best part of the movie. I like Michelle Pfeiffer in it. It was Michelle Pfeiffer? No, it was Nicole Kidman. I like Nicole Kidman. Yep. Michelle Pfeiffer was Catwoman. My bad. I like that. I liked her. I liked their dynamic. I will say there's a scene in the movie, and I didn't clip it, where Batman or Bruce Wayne tells her that she must have an obsession with bats after looking at what is obviously a bat on a piece of paper. And she goes, "No, it's an ink drop. It's an ink dot. You must love bats." And it's like, "No, woman, that's a bat." It's kind of stupid. But her character is very good. I really liked her.
Her character's solid, yeah.
I mean, not to say she should have won an Oscar for it or anything, like, but it's solid. No. Could be worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So about an hour 22 minutes in, so when Batman shows up at Chase's apartment, he comes in through the balcony and it's pouring rain outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Batman is totally dry.
Of course, because
not a single drop of rain.
You got to understand, he's got the bat umbrella, the bat rain repellent, if you will. Like, I mean, he has the bat credit card. We know that for sure.
Yep. It's about 30 minutes in, when he goes into Chase's office to show her the riddles, we see him, get out of the car, walk up the stairs, break down the door. He doesn't have the riddles. The riddles are so big they wouldn't fit in like any of his pockets. So they just appeared.
Batman the Magician. I will also say I enjoyed how he heard her screaming, and his first thought was, "I'm kicking down the door."
Yes.
Yeah. I like Val Kilmer as Batman. Like, I wish we had seen more Val Kilmer as Batman. The problem is he was in this stupid movie.
Yeah, he's a solid Batman. Like, he does a good job balancing the character as both Batman and as Bruce Wayne. I think kind of like Keaton did. I think they both did a good job, although I think Keaton's better.
And the point of this cut of this movie is to get rid of the Bruce Wayne persona, right? Like when the Bat comes out and he emerges as Batman, and I mean, he's Batman. Now, the point of the theatrical cut was to get rid of the Batman persona and let it be Bruce Wayne in a suit. Yeah, it gets stupid quick. It gets stupid quick, but he does a really good job as both characters. I really like him as Bruce. I'll tell you who else that struck me would have been a good Bruce Wayne if he wasn't so rubbery. Jim Carrey looks like Bruce Wayne when, like, in the suit, in like the tux and whatnot in the middle of the movie. He gives off Bruce Wayne vibes, and then he's freaking Jim Carrey. But
if looks wise, maybe, but Jim Carrey's personality, no.
Oh no, for sure not. But if he
could have been a great Joker,
he could have been a great Joker. I'll tell you, he played a pretty darn good Joker.
He plays Walmart Joker in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, he played a pretty darn good Joker. If you like your Joker part of the LGBT community and not the Joker, Jim Carrey is the best Joker. If you don't like the Joker in any way, shape, or form,
correct.
Yes, he was weird. Like, I really did not like. There were moments of brilliance. Like, I liked like the Surf's Up Big Kahuna as that guy takes like a 45-second fall that should have taken like 2 seconds. I liked that.
Yeah.
There's some creepiness to him that reminds me a lot of Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. Like that, there's some intensity there. But for a villain whose like entire evil plot is to invent 3D and use that to steal people's brainwaves, like, it just doesn't work at all.
Yeah. The way I described it to Grant earlier was, it's like Heath Ledger's Joker if it was not the Joker and about 100 times worse.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's like I guess the better way to liken it would be like Cesar Romero's Joker from the 60s. Like, it's just all camp with a couple of moments of holy crap, he just kicked a dude out a window. And then, like, yeah, I also don't, I want to know who signed off on, hey, let's have this villain's evil plot be make 3D a thing. Like, that was the whole thing. It sucked you into your television by making a fish pop out. And then he harnessed your brainwaves.
Trying to find a picture of...
It's so stupid.
Yeah, I'm trying to even find a good picture of him on Google, and it just does not exist.
Well, because he's in that suit, Grant.
Yeah.
You can't get a good picture. Like, unfortunately, I think this movie is the reason we'll never get a good comic accurate Riddler. Which, Grant, remind me, have you seen the Batman from last year?
No, I have not.
Okay. The Riddler is the main villain in that, but he dresses like the Zodiac Killer. Primarily, I would imagine, because, well, I found the image, by the way.
I saw plenty of pictures that could have been used, but I was looking for a good picture, not a weird picture.
Yeah, no, well, look, Grant, I found the picture. I'm going to show you. So he dressed like the Zodiac Killer with like a leather face mask, primarily because this was the last interpretation we saw of the character.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like that was just, it was not good. It was really not good.
Really not good.
It deserves to be said. There's another cut of the movie.
I don't think it matters.
It might.
At all.
It might. So
you see, that's why you had us watch this one. So you're like, oh, I've heard this one's good.
I heard it's better.
Yeah,
so
better
Kevin
relative
Smith,
to a steaming pile of dog crap.
I mean, Grant, they're both not good. So Kevin Smith, 3 weeks ago, the Hollywood director, saw and supposedly screened the Schumacher cut. Joel Schumacher directed this movie. The Schumacher cut was rumored around 2020 to exist and be vastly different. According to Variety, that cut has about 50 minutes of additional or different footage. So an hour, give or take. If we assume that none of the Red Book footage was in the Schumacher cut footage, it's an extra hour. And you would have to imagine there's an hour missing, right? So that movie could be vastly different.
It could, but my problem is if it's just essentially more of the same characters we see, then it's not going to be good. Even then,
it wouldn't be though, because it was supposedly way darker, and containing a lot less camp, according to Mark Bernardin, who's a friend of Kevin Smith and also a journalist. Like some differences include Bruce having a vision of a human-sized bat, less of an emphasis on Dick Grayson, and a focus on Bruce's psychological issues with Chase. Less of Dick Grayson, who's 38, it would be a significant improvement. Presumably, Jim Carrey plays the Joker, less Jim Carrey. I would imagine it's more of what we saw early on from Two-Face. Because I don't know if you noticed, but as the movie goes on, Two-Face becomes more of the Joker. The Riddler becomes more of the Joker. So we get two Jokers running around in weird costumes.
Yep.
Presumably, there's a better movie there. I would like to see the Schumacher cut. Rumor is if the strikes continue, we will. And if we do, you and I will review that. Like I'm just going to go ahead and commit to that. I'll force you to sit through this movie again.
I'll be honest. My honest take of does this cut exist is maybe. I doubt it's much better. Even if it is different, even if it's a little darker, just the fact that it's just the whole way through, I didn't like Jim Carrey as the Riddler / Joker. Tommy Lee Jones is fine. I mean, he's not great. Val Kilmer is good.
Yeah.
We have a 55-year-old, 14-year-old. It's going to keep making older as we keep going. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's enough good stuff in this movie to make me go, wow, there's another hour of footage. I just want to see that so much.
Supposedly the movie, the Schumacher cut runs for 170 minutes. So it's an actual extra hour.
So what that sounds like to me is we have this movie, whether the Red Book or the normal, add on 50 minutes of material.
Yeah, it also includes an opening scene that runs for 15 minutes before the bank heist. So even more of the good thing before the movie started.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what Smith said was, I've watched it, it's longer. According to IGN.
I have one.
Yeah, I don't know. No, he says he's going to review it. He might have already reviewed it, to be honest with you, because this was like a month ago.
What's his name?
Kevin Smith. He's a director. He's known for Mallrats, Dogma. Like, he's one of my favorite directors. I haven't listened to his podcast to see what he reviewed it as. Now, maybe I can find an article about it and tell you really quickly. It's roughly 2 hours and 35 minutes long. So it's 35 minutes. They say it is definitely better than the theatrical version. Two-Face is less campy, as oh goodness, the studio dubbed over his lines in the studio cut. So the movie's different.
That's interesting.
So the movie's different. I wonder if they did the same thing to Jim Carrey. And interestingly enough, Dick Grayson doing laundry and karate is gone. A campy scene that was later added to presumably show why Grayson would be a good Robin. The giant bat seems interesting.
I don't care. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care about this cut.
I know.
This is just another money grab of, oh, there's another cut.
I don't think so, because if it was that, it would have been released. Right now, the question is, are we ever going to see it, or is this something you have to be Kevin Smith to see? I kind of hope we see it, because I want to believe that there's a better Batman movie out there. I like Batman. I like Batman movies, and I really don't like the fact that in the 90s we got 2 good ones and 2 god-awful ones.
Yeah.
Because you think this is bad, Grant? This one's main crime is it's not bad enough. It is less watchable than Batman and Robin, only because Batman and Robin is such a garbage fire that you can point at it and go, ha, that's stupid. Whereas this one, you're like, wait a second, Dick Grayson looks like he's 38. Now he's fighting neon-covered homeless people.
Yeah.
But at least they tried. Like at least they tried enough. They thought, okay, they thought about trying
for like 2 seconds.
The main problem with this movie and Batman and Robin is the studio wanted to sell toys. So it's a kids movie. So if there is a
one.
Nope. But if there is a 50-minute alternate cut of it that doesn't run like a kids movie, it might be worth seeing. Hey, dude, you gotta admit the movie's entertaining. Jim Carrey sitting there running around looking like this.
Entertaining is not the word I would use, but
it's so bad. It's so bad.
It's awful.
It is so horribly mediocre.
If Val Kilmer is not in this movie, it is a 0. In my opinion.
It's so horribly mediocre, man. Like, there's nothing where you can go, well, at least they sold out and they did what they were trying to do. Like with Batman and Robin, you can say, you know what? They were trying to recreate the magic of the 60s while wearing black rubber with anatomically correct suits. Okay, they succeeded and it sucked, but they succeeded. This one, they tried to toe that line and they didn't do anything.
What, did they try to toe the line between a bad movie and an awful one? Because if so, they hit the awful side.
I was going to say they tried to toe it between like the 60s Batman and what Tim Burton was doing.
They tried to pull the biggest RV you've ever seen with a Prius. That's what they tried to do with this movie.
That is what they
tried to tow a $500,000 RV with a Prius they got out of the junkyard over here in Huntsville, Alabama.
Formerly owned by Grant Skillen.
We have not had a Prius, but
so yeah, I will say I want to point out that canonically, at least in terms of the movies, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, and Michael Keaton are all the same Batman. This is all the same timeline. That's why Nicole Kidman made the joke about the black latex and the whip, right? Mm-hmm. Catwoman from the movie before, just to show that they're all running in the same continuity. So if you compare this to Batman 89, Grant, what are your honest thoughts? Is it a worthy sequel to Batman 89?
No.
Did it set out or did it do what it set out to do?
No.
Is it a good movie?
Be a good movie? No.
Yeah. It did sell some toys. I'll tell you that. It sold a lot of toys. And it's so bad.
It's awful. I don't know why we're still talking about it. It's bad.
The only good parts of the movie are the things that happened before the movie.
Like I said, the two good parts is the little bit at the beginning, and then when the end credit scenes pop up, because you're like, thank God this is over. It is done.
Somewhere in the middle, you're like, why did they not cancel this crap?
Yeah.
It's so bad. Yeah, I don't think it's a good movie. I think it's probably overrated at a 38. Like,
Yeah.
I think that Schumacher cut will be worth watching. I think it will be interesting. I think it has the potential to be the like Justice League, right? Where the 4-hour cut's way better than the 2-hour cut. Mainly because the 2-hour cut just sucked that much. But
Better relative again.
yeah, I don't know
But-
if you've seen the Snyder cut. The Snyder cut's actually really solid. Like, it's really
no, I couldn't get through the 35 hours of Ben Affleck walking through mountains in the beginning.
it's slow-mo.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to sit down and review the Justice League movies against each other at some point. So 6 hours of Justice League. Hey, Grant wants to kill himself.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Speaking of which, at least that guy that Digma killed got full health benefits under Wayne Enterprises. All right.
On that note,
if you've enjoyed the show and want to support us, first off, I'd like to say I think we deserve it because we sit through these movies, so you don't have to.
he's trying to get me to watch Batman and Robin, dude.
We're going to watch Batman and Robin, but we're going to do a commentary track on Batman and Robin because that's the only way you can watch it. You cannot watch Batman and Robin in a room alone. You will blow your brains out. You got to watch it with somebody, and you both just have to be making fun of it the whole time. That's it. Anyway, if you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/theculturednerd, and you can support us. You can support any of the other shows on the network, and you can support the network as a whole. That helps keep the lights on, or in my case, off, and helps us to a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down when it comes to watching crummy Batman movies for Val Kilmer month. Thank you to Val Kilmer for providing this month's content. Join us next week when we do George Clooney month, just so I can watch Batman and Robin. As always, I've been your host, Grant Ingram.
And I'm somehow still your co-host, Grant Skillen. Thank you to each of our Patreon supporters. Thank you to Jose for the logo and Taylor for the intro.
And thank you, the viewer, for joining us on this journey through Batman Forever, a movie that unfortunately goes on forever.
A movie that unfortunately exists.
If you enjoyed the episode, please leave a like and subscribe. It really does help us out. We're trying to grow this channel into something that rivals the main channel, which is The Cultured Nerd. If you want to check out more of what The Cultured Nerd has to offer and stay away from Grant Skilling because he doesn't like Tombstone and he thinks Val Kilmer is the only good part of this movie, if you're like one of the 3 freaks that like it, you can scan that logo there on the left. If you want to get more of us, because for some reason you do like Grant Skilling and his opinions, you can scan that logo on the right. We recently interviewed Margaret Holzer and have done an absolutely horrid job of promoting that. So if you want to check that out, again, scan the QR code there on the right. Join us next week as we continue on our journey through the monocle.